Hey, what's up, guys? A couple people in my stream have asked me to do a VOD review so that I can explain what I'm doing as I'm doing in a game. I find it pretty difficult to handle that live and on stream, so I figured I'd just do a recording and put it on YouTube. And hopefully this helps people learn about the decision making that goes into playing at the Immortal and higher level. Most of the players in this game are going to be about 250 RR last season, North America. This is a duo coup with Mashoka. The previous game we had beaten Asu in a 14-12 that was honestly a toss-up. It could have gone either way. But hey, a win against Asu is a win against Asu, and we're always happy for it, right? Your games are generally going to start right here at the loading screen. A lot of games can be lost if people start getting toxic at this point. I did want to play Jet here since I had just done a Brimstone the previous game. Notice that I don't actually lock the character here. I'm just at the picking screen. At this point, I think somebody says they're going to dodge or something to that effect. The cracked guy says that he's going to be dodging. I foolishly believe that he's actually going to be dodging and just last minute switch my hero away to Brimstone and lock it, thinking that we're going back to the queue. And he picks at the last second. So here we go. We've got 2 smokes on this. Generally not advised, but 2 smokes isn't terrible. It's very, very difficult to play against on the attacker side. So here we are on split. We do have a Sage, which we like to see for mid plays. It's pretty effective. And we're going to launch right into the pistol round. If you want to see me actually play live, you can go to twitch.tv/OrangeTV, and I'm on there playing. Starting off, I'm going to buy all the smokes, since smokes are Brim's greatest resource. The longest lasting smoke in the game, I think it's 29 seconds now, or thereabouts. And then I'm going to get a Ghost, because I'm not rocking the armor, and 1 Stim Beacon. You'll find that I use Stim Beacons a lot on Brimstone. I think it's one of the most slept on abilities in all of Valorant. You can get rounds that you never deserved with a Stim Beacon, especially on eco rounds. You need to be pretty liberal with their use, though. So at this point, I communicate that, hey, I'm going to be the one smoking. It's important to do this if you have 2 smokers on the team. I smoke. I tell the Astra that he's going to be doing the suck maneuver there in the event they come. So you saw the wall there. There's a call basically saying that they're pushing the wall in mid. I put a smoke down on it. It's really hard to push through the smoke that you're looking at right here. Anybody coming out of that smoke is going to be at a disadvantage on anybody holding the edge of that smoke. Obviously, that's the theme that we're working with any smoke. As that smoke goes down, there's a re-smoke on it. Start rotating towards A. Get the kill on 1. Use the rest of my clip before I reload to continue spamming through smoke. Players at lower levels don't tend to spam through smoke properly. You should know where your corners are. You should be pre-aiming your corners. Your crosshair placement should facilitate a quick shot to that. And you should be using your clips. You get a lot of ammo in this game. So we're pre-aimed on this corner. We know that he's healed. He's overhealed, right? So we're kind of hesitant to just swing on the guy. And the downside of spamming through all those smokes is that our Ghost is going to run out about halfway through the round. So I'm lucky to pick up another one there. And then the guy's telling me, hey, they're going through mid. They might be going to heaven. Goes, oh, they're still mid. Yeah, so he engages him, and I'm time aware here, right? I know this guy, there's no way the kid's going to be able to make it into a site and plant. So I take the most conservative position ever. I wait until the time runs out, and then I peek heaven. Then I take the possible duel. And lo and behold, he peeks me. I'm unable to get the kill. But still, guaranteed wins. You need to be careful about peeking towards the end of time. If you can win on time, take that option. Don't try to swing on someone. Don't try to win the aim duel, even if it's easy. If time is an option to win on, take it. It's a guaranteed win. You can't beat it. Going to this next round, we're buying a Spectre here. Looks like I don't get all my smokes. That's a mistake. That's a definite mistake. I would sell a molly even or anything to get all the smokes. All right, so he crosses, and I know that my molly's going to hold that. Liberal use of the stim beacon. I like to delay their push into heaven because if they do end up taking heaven, it's really, really difficult for the defenders in A site. Oh, that's an enemy omen smoke. The call that there's one in markets. Still going to hold it. There's a call that there's one breaking the wall in mid. Still holding this corner. Notice the crosshair placement. It's headshot level. It's not quite pixel peaked. It's ready for the run out. I'm going to have a tendency to hold angles like that more so when the opponents are on an eco or on a, the second round after losing. The idea being that even if they do peek me with a classic and have me pre-aimed, my weapon advantage is still going to get me the win. And there's that situation where I'm pretty unsure where the other guy is. I'm kind of just checking and holding corners. I don't like to spend the 1,000 here to upgrade to full armor for 17 armor. At this point, because we're doing a bonus here, if it's 25 or above, I'm probably not going to buy full armor. I'm probably just going to go and leave it as, basically what is essentially a light armor buy. This smoke, again, is hard to push through. So same principle as we used on mid earlier, we're gonna hold this here. Immediately that smoke, immediately crosshair placement for the run out. You see the wall being broke. We drop that smoke in mid to hold. Pre-aim it. This is a bit of a risky orb, but because of their calls, I think I've got about 4 accounted for, and it's relatively unlikely, though not sure that last person is not just sitting behind the smoke. So we're gonna keep that smoke up on mid. Okay, these mollies are just kind of by feel. So coming up, this guy kind of makes an interesting call. I think he tells me to swing with him. Yeah, he asks me to swing with him, which I really like. I do. It's flanked from heaven. So I know that I have to turn this into 2 1v1s, right? So there's that. And now I'm just looking for the peak advantage. Okay, so now I know he's hurt. Right, so we're just looking for a body shot there, right? And that's just awareness that it's going to be easier to hit a body shot than it is to hit a headshot. That being said, I could have lost that. Sometimes those are kind of 50-50 situations. Difficult to say who's actually going to win or not. And it can be very luck-based at that point. Anything overtly obvious, but overall levels of anxiety are noticeably lower in all situations. Yeah, I've heard that. How do you hold your mouse? That's just me talking to my chat there. Can ignore that. Somebody asked me how I hold my mouse, and I say it's with my hand. It's very witty like that. All right, we got our standard A smoke. We see their presence. We immediately pull the molly to stop the rush. And then again, this liberal use of stim beacons, right? You just got to throw them down. You just got to throw them down in the middle of the fights. We're going to pre-aim this corner. We get one of them. And the other one, Astra should have been holding my push there. There's no reason to think that she wasn't. She hadn't just burned a bunch of bullets. So I was thinking that she was holding that push. So by walking up like that, I think that I win most of the time. But Astra failed to just hold it, which is a mistake. And mistakes happen a lot, even in the more Immortal Radiant areas. If we were a league team, that would be a point of discussion. All right, this Reyna makes a huge mistake here, right? Why peek him? Why jump to that spot? He could have overhealed and then had an easy overheal 2v1 rather. Reyna made a huge mistake there. There was a way to get to that orb without peeking under low HP. I think I demonstrated here, yeah. So if he sucks from this point onto his overheal, he's good to go. Never had to peek the guy. definite mistake out of that Reyna. It was very sloppy. He knows it. I know it. What can you do? And smoke. So I know they're engaging from my teammates' comms. I do drop an ult into it, and I thought the Astra was using his slow at that point. Kind of sloppy. Okay, so I pushed this because I knew one player was detained. I get the second, but I don't realize how far left the Sage is strafed at that point, and I don't have the pre-aim. So the guy's answer to why did you res was I res so that I could bait him out. I don't know if I agree with that. I think it was a waste of a res in that situation. I think that was a mistake. Same smoke. Be predictable for your teammates, which are predictable for the opponents. That being said, it's very hard to play against smokes. Okay. Gonna molly to slow the push and spam the wall. And we're pretty frustrated that the Astra did not call that the raise was across. A call from my Astra would be just lovely. Games are good. Beat Asu. That was fun. 14-12. Just chatting with the stream here. We get a full buyout. I like to use the Vandal against this long angle here. Maps like Ascent, or if you decide to take a long angle where single tapping ahead is going to be more efficient than using a Phantom. That's the case where I'll use a Vandal. Nice. Vandal's harder to control the spray of, which you see right there, right? A Phantom would have killed him faster. I call that they could be ropes or high ramp, and then I bail out for the what was the ult? Liberal use of the stim, as everyone should. Missed the shot. So notice how I wasn't entirely wide swinging to ramp there. The reason for that is I'm almost assuredly going to lose that. Nice, there's an op down. And the double blind there is pretty good. I'm surprised Sage wasn't just peeking the elbow guy there, though. Our 2-7 Astra is opping, of course. What kind of question is that? Oh man. 2-7 Astra. 2-7. I don't know if drops are happening here. So, there's a lot of situations with Brimstone where a Spectre is fine. You'll notice I'll decide to play a lot closer than I decided to play with the Vandal. I'm going to exploit my smokes, play close to them, and I'm also going to exploit the stim beacons. I didn't hear anything. I elect not to smoke. I'm in a disadvantaged money situation, so I want close corners. I smoke mid because it's just generally a good idea. And I see him start moving into B. have gone A. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of worried about where that Omen went. I actually can't remember where he ended up going.
One's close up mid. Close mid. 120 on Omen. Okay, he's dead.
Stim beacon, because I'm thinking that I'm going to be fighting, and indeed I am.
So many legs and wallbangs. I'm so
Stim beacon is a lot quieter than people give it credit for. 7 assists, man. You're doing great.
I literally have 7 assists, dude. This is so fucked.
Assists or damage. I count them. 10, 4, and 2. We've got 4 ults ready.
Fuck you.
And they're in a pretty disadvantageous money situation. I think I'll probably opt for a Phantom here. Or I forget to buy a gun at all.
Much smaller cock than most people.
Ignore that. Ignore that talk.
He's very proud of it. He's up, cross ramp.
Yeah, I forgot to buy a gun. That I remember this round. Sloppy stuff like that can definitely lose you rounds. We decided to ult that high ramp simply to delay that heaven push. We can hear Cypher in hell. We're close to try to get the right click. That falls, double tap the head. Long distance classic. Just take slow shots. That's all you can really do. Spamming's not going to give you much. So now we're like, okay, we need a gun.
Yeah, I have retake. I have roll for retake.
Managed to get our hands on a Spectre. All good.
1 CT, 1 CT. CT, CT. Running up, running up.
One of the things I take greatest issue with watching anything, basically it starts fixing around Diamond, is people's crosshair placement as they run around.
CT, CT. I'm soaking it.
Suck him off. Good job.
So their crosshair placement as they run around is really sloppy. It's not on the corners basically where you would want it to be to reduce the time to kill.
Like pretty decent, like
What's
this.
the only phantom?
Pretty decent what?
Like you have a clip of you spectating this, spectating some people on Icebox, and they're like really bad.
Oh yeah, the AP whiffed. Yeah, that was from me. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, what's up, Samurai? How you doing, man?
My friend-
So this is a super low time to kill game. It's why we love it, right? There's a huge clutch ability when you can kill somebody and take no damage yourself. Being slightly better than someone can be all the difference in the world.
Let me know if you want anything.
It allows for the 1v5s that we like out of this game, the 1v5s that we like out of Counter-Strike. All those very clutch moments come from the low TTK. The low TTK means that you need to reduce the time it takes for you to start doing damage to an opponent as much as possible, which is where crosshair placement comes in. A lot of the reason players at the top level are able to aim so efficiently and fast is because they've done a lot of the work before they've even peeked that corner. Notice that I am pre-aimed basically on where I expect the enemy to be as I come around the corner. That's most movement. There's time where it's not as applicable, but it's rarer than people give it credit for. Most of the time, you need to have your crosshair in a useful spot. The only times you don't is when you're using an ability such as a smoke, or when you're using an ability that's going to cause some sort of movement that is unrelated to entering a combative duel. The problem with this game is you almost never know when somebody's actually going to step around the corner. So boom, crosshair is on the corner where I expect him to be. Snap to the corner. Snap to the corner of screens. And despite already being on his head or close thereabouts, I lose the duel because my crosshair placement was not good enough. Okay, so that Reyna is sitting at Flower Box, which is what we consider an off angle, right? That right there where Omen's standing, also an off angle. It's not a corner. It's not behind a wall or anything that we expect. Off angles are what we use to exploit other players' good crosshair placement. So off angles are less useful at lower ranks and more useful at higher ranks. But you'll see people playing off angles and catching other players out. They'll just stand out in the middle of the open,
Are you smoking it, man?
and it works. It works because no one expects them to stand there, and that low time to kill means that they win. All right, we smoke A main. We put the molly down to slow people. We think about smoking mid. We realize that it's at B. Boom, it's at B.
I sucked him. I sucked him. Shit.
Last player standing.
Oh my god.
I like not to use my ult here.
Yeah, now I am.
And I absolutely whiff on the Raze, who is just swinging on me.
All right, let's get this last one, boys.
Which, hey, it happens, right? 14, 6, and 2. It's definitely an okay half for us, but we're 6 and 5 right now as a team, which is not good for defender side split. Same smoke, not surprising anybody here. Still hard to play with.
We're gonna win this.
Long day at work. We're in the bot. Hopefully our friend the
You will not kill
Molly has helped us out there. Decide to ult that. I'm just a little late. Smoke high ramp. Just adds to the confusion of the gunfight. Prevents him from doing something silly like swinging on my teammates, getting a double. I don't know why I get this ult orb, but yeah, I decide halfway through that I don't actually need it. There's no way in hell I'm going to get my ultimate before the end of this half, right? 6 and 5. I have 0. There's no reason for me to waste time there, and I realize that.
Diffuse.
This is really odd.
Diffuse.
So he's only looking at the Sage, decides to try to kill him out of the ult, and of course I kill him right away. Pretty silly play by him. I don't know why he decided to do that. I don't think I'll ever know.
I was like, man,
Same
this is
loadout.
for a little longer than usual. This must be close.
Pretty much universal. The only change that I would ever do to Brim's loadout here is opt for
It's orange.
a
It's a great debate. No one actually.
armor
nobody
instead of a
knows.
ghost.
God, I get it now.
It's a great
But if
debate.
you're like amazing with the Brim Molly lineups, I could see you deciding that a Molly might be useful, especially with certain compositions. If you've got a Viper on your
a lot
team,
of people say it, fuck you, but that's an advanced play.
What are you smoking, Brim?
Yeah.
What are you smoking?
I will smoke Heaven.
No,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
streaming.
about to put like.
so initial here,
and-
smoking Heaven. Heaven is extremely important to smoke. I smoke it far enough out that they're not able to step out on the ledge from the smoke.
Kill Sage.
And then almost universally, there's going to be a player at that top ramp if they're peeking on the right side. They rarely cross. So I'm just spamming through the smoke, hoping to get a kill here.
One's rafters.
That screen smoke angers some people. It smokes both screen and elbow, as you see there. It eliminates just one more angle for your team as you push through that like low A ramp.
Go, go,
Cool.
go, go.
I think we got the call that all four were there. This smoke right here, there's two smokes that you can do for mid here. Essentially, you can do one that pushes all the way to the box, or you can do the one that I just did that stops right there.
I'm just holding the rest.
Most players are a bigger fan of the rope smoke that stops right at that wall.
CT.
30 seconds left.
Bad crosshair placement means that I don't get the headshot there. I turn and I'm able to get the headshot. I don't realize that there's 2 bullets in it. Pick it up anyways. This is just so I have the right click.
Enemy remaining.
1,
Spike down B.
fake it,
10 seconds left.
figure that he's pushed off. hey, I need to commit to the actual plant. I could have faked here, but I think a lot of dudes are going to just hold and hope that the person's faking. I jumped up there just to try to get a different peek on him. I see him, I get one shot into him, and I'm just faster there. That's all that was. I thought I was going to be peeking him, but he ended up peeking me, and then I just flicked him. It was over. We pick up the Deagle, we get full armor and full utility loadout for next round. We're 18, 6, and 2 at this point. And again, we're going to do that rope smoke that just cuts off the door, doesn't cut off the small box on the right.
With Russian, for whatever reason.
I think it's pretty important to burn the wall initially while it's coming up if you've got more than one person in mid, especially with mediocre guns. Lurkers are extremely common in ladder. Probably less common in actual league play, but really common in ladder. People like to hunt frags. They think they need to make a big difference, so they end up lurking a lot. I do it. A lot of players that do it. And it works, right? There's poor coverage of the sides in this game for the most part, unless you have a sentinel like Cypher or Killjoy. This Deagle is pretty clean, I'm not gonna lie. Kinda like it.
No, definitely not. Not gonna. High armor, Astra.
Alright, Spectre. Again, we do the smoke that does not cover the box. For some reason I opt for the Deagle. And I decide I'm going to be the only one that's holding my crosshair and the only place that someone can peek there. That particular molly is meant to just go and push anybody off that's going to want to spam down between the broken wall that we did. Double smoking heaven can help your teammates that are trying to push into B site. I recommend using that on retakes. They can kind of peek out rafters right there and they can peek from hell, but it's very difficult to take the people that are actually in heaven, and the smokes eliminate that angle. So they called 2 heaven. Turns out there was not one there.
Strafing and mouse one. It's too fast. It's too fast for him to even track. It's just a blur for his eyes.
At this point, we're upgrading to the Phantom, full armor. Had I not died last round, I would probably still be on a Spectre, to be honest. So we peek out. We're spamming our own smoke into ropes. Molly is a little committal to going to heaven. It's cool. We know that Omen is heaven. And at this point, I elect to cover flanks. Why do I look at that flank before the other flank? Usually it comes a little bit faster from B than from A. Alright, here's the late push. We know one is in. I like this spot because it protects you from blinds, and people are usually not checking this deep. They're usually already looking up at that point. So it's a really good angle as opposed to behind the box on top where they're usually looking. Teammate calls B main. Get the drop on him. Easy enough. He's got a Bucky, so good luck for him. It's a post-patch Bucky, too. It's not the Bucky of yore.
They're demoralized, I can tell.
The enemy team? Yeah.
Yes.
So this guy is talking in accents. I don't understand it. I don't know why people think it's
Sometimes
like
I wonder
funny.
about these guys. Like, they think it's funny, or
Yeah, 100%. Smoke down. This is like a kind of like a kid's game.
This lineup right there, when you aim at that corner from that particular spot, it will land right on heaven. Pretty effective with Sage as well. Exact same physics as Sage. Again, we're pre-aiming and pre-firing that corner when there's gun duels going on, and we want to make sure that that heaven is smoked, just to reduce. So she dismisses here, I think. I dropped that to force her in sight. Could have also ulted sight, but it would have been a little more difficult for all my teammates, or to get a 2v1 essentially on the guy if he's chilling over there in the elbow. Hopefully last round and we can wrap this game up. But I actually don't recall. I haven't watched this VOD. We are definitely doing this live.
I can buy you.
You're not cracked.
Same smoke on ropes. If your teammates are going mid, you should probably be doing it as Brim or even as Omen. If you're not going to do it, make sure you tell them. So we got Raze pushing long here. We know Reyna's seen me.
Let's go back now. No way I died.
Help burn one sewers.
We smoke off.
One enemy remaining.
Minimal manages to get the kill.
Okay, so
The other team calls GG.
let me go first. Yes, one. There's no way you don't have smokes. I don't believe it.
We smoke heaven again. Now all we have to do is focus on screens. There is a possibility that they push out heaven. It's one of the most annoying smoke pushes in the entire game. Can happen a lot. In higher ranked play, you'll see guys just kind of walk out and push that. We're feeling pretty confident here, so we're kind of just tapping the guy.
Did you drop? Did you drop?
Probably. I mean, he's probably like ramp.
Bust down, Tatiana. Bust down. Oh, you one tap.
I think at this point I decide I'm going to knife him.
Give him the tap.
Yep. He manages to get the kill, so we did 82 to him. There's no way he can win. And that is GG. So we'll do a score review here shortly. Pretty decent game.
Have a wonderful night, guys.
Just kind of a random Immortal game, so I hope there was some value in discussing the thought processes on why I'm doing certain things, why I'm doing certain habits. We do a quick review. As you can see, all Immortal players. If you have any questions, let me know. Send me a message. Drop into my Twitch channel.
Yeah, I gotta do it.
Super small Twitch channel. Just about 1,000 followers, so I definitely respond to everybody in there. Twitch.tv/OrangyTV, and thank you so much for
GG,
hanging out.
guys. Check out Christy Bush.
Peace.
One of my friends.